was a Chihuahua Terrier with fur as dark and glossy as a moonless night's velvet. Her energy was boundless, a pint-sized tornado that swept through the quiet mornings of her home, bringing life to the creaky floorboards and the tired eyes of her human, Grandma Rosie. Grandma Rosie, a stoic woman with a cane as reliable as a lighthouse beam, found solace in the spirited dance of her little companion. Despite her age, the pain that whispered through her bones with every step she took, and the lines that etched her face like the story of 1,000 summers, she managed to keep the flame of her spirit burning bright, fanned by the warmth of Little Betty's love. Max, Zeke, and Eternity, Grandma Rosie's grandchildren, were the sunbeams in her life. They were a trio of laughter and chaos, a stark contrast to her gentle grace. Max, the eldest, had a heart as big as a lion's and a brain to match. Zeke, the middle child, had a curious mind that was always buzzing with questions, while Eternity, the youngest, had a soul as soft and as vast as the ocean she was named after. They visited often, not just to brighten Grandma's days, but to help care for Little Betty, knowing that the little dog was a source of joy and companionship that Grandma couldn't get from anyone else. One particularly dreary afternoon, as rain pattered against the window panes, Grandma Rosie sat in her favorite chair, her body protesting with each movement. The grandkids had brought board games and crafts, hoping to chase away the gloom. But Grandma's pain was a persistent guest. Little Betty, ever the empath, curled up at her feet, her dark eyes reflecting the unspoken understanding that only a true companion can provide. Suddenly, a mischievous glint sparked in Max's eyes as he remembered an old trick he'd seen in a cartoon. "Hey, Grandma," he began, his voice as bright as the idea that had just struck him. "Why don't we build Little Betty a stunt ramp? We could watch her zoom around the house like a tiny superhero." Grandma Rosie's eyes lit up, a hint of her youthful spark returning. "What a wonderful idea, Max! That might just be the pick-me-up I need." And so, with a bit of cardboard, a sprinkle of imagination, and a whole lot of love, they constructed a ramp that looked like it had been plucked from the set of a dog show. They placed it at the top of the staircase, which Little Betty eyed with suspicion. Zeke coaxed her with a squeaky toy, while Eternity held back the curtain of doubt with gentle encouragement. At first, Little Betty was hesitant, pawing at the ramp as if it were a strange new creature. But Max took a page out of Grandma's book and demonstrated with his own makeshift ramp and a toy car, zooming it down the incline while with a little giggle. The sight of the car in motion seemed to speak to Little Betty's adventurous spirit, and she took a tentative step onto the cardboard. With a gentle nudge from Zeke, Little Betty shot down the ramp like a rocket, her tiny legs propelling her through the air. The children cheered, their laughter echoing through the house and filling Grandma Rosie's heart with warmth. Each run down the ramp brought a twinkle to her eye, a reminder that even in the quiet moments, there was joy to be found in the simplest of things. Days turned into weeks, and the stunt ramp became a permanent fixture in Grandma's house, Lil Betty grew bolder with every leap, performing for her audience of 3, who clapped and giggled with every new trick she learned. The ramp was more than just a toy. It was a bridge connecting the generations, a shared delight that didn't need words to express. As Grandma watched the kids play with Little Betty, she couldn't help but feel a bit of pain melt away. It was in those moments, with the sound of their laughter and the sight of her little dog's boundless enthusiasm, that she felt the warmth of a love that transcended age and physical limitations. And so Little Betty became the unsung hero of the house, not just for her stuff-filled escapades, but for the way she brought a bit of magic to their lives, turning an ordinary afternoon into a celebration of life's expected joys. Her dark velvet fur and her unbridled spirit key, the emblem of hope and happiness that Grandma needed. A reminder that even in the stormiest of times, there is always a rainbow waiting to break through the clouds. The end.